Hi, this is Susie with Scrappy Designs, and I have just started a brand new blog for new scrapbookers. So if you are a new scrapbooker or one that is thinking about getting into scrapbooking, check out my blog. I will try to have new posts every week with a project that is simple but yet really cute. That's my goal. And if you have questions or things like that, I can answer them and just kind of help you along the way as you get started. So that's scrappydesigns.blogspot.com. So if you're a newbie, then just head over there and see what I've got posted. There won't be a lot on there just yet. This will be my first project. But as the weeks go on, there'll be several projects for you to check out. So anyway. This is Graphic 45's The Magic of Oz paper collection. I had some pieces left over from some other projects that I did. I had bought the 8x8 paper pad and the 12x12 paper pad. So I had some extras from both ends, both sizes there. So I just kind of mixed them together. I like to try to use all my scraps as best as I can. That way I get more for my money. Get more projects done out of it. So, anyway, on the cover, this whole album, I think, took me 5 sheets of paper and, some cardstock, different colored cardstocks, which most of them were scraps that I had. I don't throw my scraps away. So I had smaller pieces, they just got used instead of using new sheets of cardstock every time, and throwing them scraps away. Just hang on to them and use them for, like this one I just inset behind this little picture here, which worked out great. Otherwise, I would have normally just thrown it away. I added some nice little of the tags. This came out of the 8x8 pad. I simply just cut them apart. I don't know if you can see that or not. And these are just some of the little characters in the Oz. And anyway, I just simply hung them off of the 3-ring, what do they call these? Can't even think at the moment. But anyway, they're the little rings there. And I just added them on with some ribbon, and they just made a nice little touch to the album. And they were just scraps. I would have thrown them away had I not found something to do with them. So anyway, there's that. I added a button, just added some sheer ribbon to it. This ribbon I simply found at the Dollar Tree. The sheer ribbons were Dollar Tree ribbons. I think I bought a big roll of black one with a 40% off coupon at Michael's. Anyway, so I just used things that I had, and it didn't cost me a lot for anything here. You open it up, and I made a lot of pockets in this album to hold tags. And this was one of the pieces of paper that had 4 different, and as you see as we go on, you'll see them, 4 different seams just like this. And I simply cut them apart and used them as a tag. And I added a little place for a photo on the back. And here is a place for a photo on both sides. Now, some of these were scraps that I simply cut out of what I had left over from my other projects there. Tab punches, when you first get started, it's nice to have at least one tab punch. You can find them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or usually any local scrapbook store will have some kind of a tab punch. This one happens to be Stampin' Up, but the other one that I used in here, I think I got at Michael's or a local scrapbook store. It's just a file tab punch. But you want to have at least one. That kind of gives character to your pages. If you don't have a tab punch, you might use ribbons. Just use your hole punch and tie a ribbon through it so you have something to give it a little character. Here I created, this is a half circle punch. It's actually a whole circle punch, and I have cut and used half of it to cut out this half circle. And I simply double-sided my photo mats. Again, these were scraps that I had here. I added a large photo mat here, and I simply set it in the bag. And these bags here I got at Kroger's. You can get them at Dillon's, Kroger's. I think there's several stores that are Kroger's or Dillon owned, so they would probably have them. And they are, when folded, they end up to be a 6x6 album. So you can put larger pictures. This is a 3.5x5 photo mat, so you can kind of add larger pictures to these bags as opposed to just the regular lunch bags. But here I did use a little bit of a decorative border punch and added, I just simply cut this out of the 8x8 pad. These were some little postage stamps that were in the pad. And of course poppies, I cut out a lot of poppies during my other projects. So here is just another one of the little cutout tags out of the paper. And this is another one of the little squares that made up that 8x8 paper that I said had 4 of them on there. Here is the back. And just made it a photo mat on the back. Here's what I was saying about simply using your hole punch. I used a little eyelet there and tied some ribbon through. So if I didn't have a tab punch, I would simply just use a hole punch and tie some ribbon through, something to give it a little character as you make your book. Here is the tab punch I was telling you. You can find this, you can probably find it at Hobby Lobby too. I don't know that for sure, but it's just a file folder tab punch. So by McGill, and it's very easy to find. I know that, I think that Michael's carries it. And, you know, like I said, some of your local scrapbook stores will too. Here's my other page. And here's another, I just added the eyelet, added some ribbon. I kind of mimicked the 2 pages since I had the 2 different sizes, and added a photo mat on the back. Here's the other piece of that made up my page that I cut apart. And I simply added a photo mat on the back. This is a little piece that's in the paper that I just simply cut out of the paper and made it as a place to put my tags and give it kind of a little inset when I go to put a photo on. So, put these in like this. And of course added a little poppy at the bottom. And this is just a pretty page. Every album could stand to have just a pretty page. So that's what this is. You know, unless somebody just decides to put a little photo to cover up anything on it. It's just a pretty page. I added a little button, tied some of the sheer ribbon through it, and put it on the top. Here's another photo mat, and I just made it identical to the other. Didn't add a whole lot of anything to it. It's just for your photo. And here's this page, and I simply cut this out of the paper, and this is on the same piece of paper here. It was actually bordered in this wicked here, and I backed it in some cardstock and added a photo mat. And here is, I'm going to try to put this up here. You can see her here in the paper, and I simply cut this out of one of the other sheets and added her there to kind of mimic her in the background, just to give it a little bit of character on that page. And here I added another chipboard tag, and then just a small photo mat, kept it pretty simple. And here is another one of the pieces that I cut out. One thing about when you go to make albums, if you have paper that you are able to cut out pieces like the poppies here, you can add a lot of dimension and a lot of character to your pages. So this here, he lifts up so that when I go to put a photo here, I can slide it down and it will set behind the scarecrow. Then here I just simply cut out a piece of There's No Place Like Home that came on another sheet of paper, and I inked around it just a little bit, or chalked around it, and used another border punch, the same border punch that I used earlier, and placed it there just for some color. And then here is my last page, and it is the Tin Man. I had a very small scrap of this. I had just enough to make like a mat. And then I had cut this out of another piece of paper and just added him on the side, and I cut this out of the piece of paper, just the Road to Oz. You can make a lot of embellishments just out of your paper, and not even have to have a stamp set. In this whole book, I did not use one stamp set, one stamp on anything. So, and here I just simply used another one of the cutout paper tags that was on a whole sheet of paper and placed Dorothy on the back to give the back a little something. But anyway, this is a really easy mini, and I'm going to post some of the directions on my blog this week. The pictures will go up, and then I will put the tutorial on there sometime this week. So, like I said, it's a brand new blog, and if you're interested and you're a new scrapbooker, then head over there. It's scrappydesigns.blogspot.com. And anyway, I hope to see you there. Thanks so much for watching.